Joe Biden's campaign is continuing to hide him after Super Tuesday, and they're doing it because he's struggling cognitively. He's in a sharp decline, and that's pretty obvious. It's obvious to people who work on his campaign, so they're doing the limited visibility strategy, which, listen, it's worked. All Biden needed to become the frontrunner was what happened, namely Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar dropping out. Beto came in on the fun, endorsed Biden, and that gave him the establishment coalescing. And so all of the, boomer liberals, the suburbanites, were like, oh, got it, there's my candidate. And they came out in droves, and they supported Biden. So that's all he needed. But still, they're not letting him do many interviews. They're not letting him do many speeches or rallies because they figure, hey, it worked to this point. Hiding him has worked because the idea of Joe Biden is better than the reality of Joe Biden. So this is their strategy. And listen, I can't say it's a bad strategy. In fact, it's a good strategy and it's working. So now the only issue is they can't literally never let him appear. That's not possible when you're running for president. So they're letting him appear as little as possible. So there was a rally the other day in Missouri, I believe, and it's his rally. And at his rally, he only spoke for 10 minutes. And in that 10-minute speech, there were a number of disturbing moments. But here's one of them right here where, again, it's clear he's struggling with his mental capabilities.
And turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. We can only reelect Donald Trump. And turn this primary from a campaign that's about negative attacks into one about what we're for, because we cannot get reelected. We cannot win this reelection. We can only reelect Donald Trump.
Now, if you think that bringing this up is impolite, what are you going to do when Trump hammers Biden with stuff like this throughout the entire general election? Because guess what? He already is doing it. Look, this is a Trump ad that came out a couple days ago before his new round of gaffes. But look at this ad.
President Obama reportedly told Joe Biden directly, quote, "You don't have to do this, Joe. You really don't."
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
I think Biden looked unsteady at many points.
Play the radio. Make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night. The phone.
He's not the most polished speaker anymore.
The president my friend from Vermont thinks that.
Watching his long, winding answers that don't really make sense in recent debates has also raised the question as to whether that has gotten worse and whether he is up for this.
The fact is that the bills that the future president here.
There's a lot of people who are concerned about Joe Biden's ability to carry the ball all the way across the end line without fumbling.
Go to Joe 30330.
He looked kind of unsteady and almost deer in the headlights.
So what are we doing? What's going on right now?
He's not that good at this. I mean, he's clearly not that strong a candidate, thinking on his feet.
Anyway, my time's up. I'm sorry.
I think there are some concerns, and they've been expressed by Democrats themselves.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Over whether Joe Biden is equipped to withstand a very grueling campaign.
We choose truth over facts.
Joe Biden was really shaky, both because he was stumbling through his answers.
I'm the vice president of the United States.
And also because the substance of those answers hasn't really gotten better.
Those details are irrelevant.
I think we're going to see growing questions, wondering if he has the mental and physical stamina to get through this campaign.
I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town.
Obama warned Biden's aides to make sure Biden didn't embarrass himself.
Imagine what would have happened if, God forbid, Barack Obama had been assassinated.
Real conversation that is happening among Democrats. Has he lost a step? Is he too shaky?
I want to be clear. I'm not going nuts.
There are definitely moments where you listen to Joe Biden and you just wonder.
You want to put that up against Trump? So, guess what, guys? That first video that I showed you, the recent cognitive decline moment that Biden had, the media is trying to protect Biden. I can't deal with this. Okay, so what's their argument? Well, Donald Trump, one of his people tweeted that video out, and Donald Trump responded to it on Twitter and said, "I agree, Joe." Because at the end of that gaffe video, the first one I showed you there, he says, "We could only re-elect Trump." And so Trump was messing around and acting like, "Oh, that's an endorsement of me. So yeah, I agree, Joe. You could only re-elect Trump." So the media is now nuanced trolling, and they're saying, well, actually, that video is misleadingly edited because Biden goes on to say in the clip, the part that you cut out is when Biden goes on to say, we could only re-elect Trump if we have circular firing squads, so Bernie needs to not do the circular firing squad. That's their argument. Okay. And by the way, they're trying to lump in people like me and the left with the Trump people who ran this clip. Okay. I'm going to say this as clearly as I can. The reason we are talking about that clip is not because of the we can only re-elect Trump part. It's the part before that where he's struggling to get out the words even with the teleprompter there. That's the problem. The problem is that he can't get the words out and he's tripping all over himself even when he's reading off a teleprompter and he gets lost in the fog. Yes, he might go on after the clip ends to say, we can only re-elect Trump if there are circular firing squads and all that stuff. That could be true. But that doesn't distract from the fact that he couldn't get the frickin' sentence out because he has cognitive decline. They're really going to go with the protect Joe Biden strategy, and nothing to see here. There's nothing to see. He's fine. What are you guys? What are you guys talking about? You think he's struggling? That's totally normal. He's always been. He has a stutter. That's the other one. Is they keep saying, "Oh man, I saw somebody on my own timeline arguing as somebody who struggles with stuttering." Joe Biden was a hero to me in my youth. Nobody's attacking the stutter. He's not stuttering. He's not doing it. That's not stuttering. That's cognitive issues. Come on, guys. I've showed you the clips. I can't do this anymore. I've showed you the freaking clips. I've showed you the endless compilations of Joe Biden not being able to speak. Are we really going to go all in on that strategy? Nothing's wrong. He's always been like this. Or it's a stutter. Which is it? That contradicts itself. There's nothing wrong. He's always been like this. Okay, that's one argument. And then other people, well, that's his stutter. Wait, which is it? Is there nothing wrong and he's always been like this? Or does he stutter? Those aren't the same argument. Which is it? They're trying everything they can. Cover up, nothing wrong. It's not going to work. Anybody who's not, up the ass of corporate media, believing every lie they feed them is going to go, something seems off there. Their strategy to win the election is, right, la, 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 Biden's great, la, 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 he's fine, la, 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 he's the most electable, la, 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 la. And the thing that drives me crazy is that the older liberals who are supporting Biden, they think like, all right, you stupid young voters, we're saving you from the prospect of Bernie Sanders, okay? That's what we're doing. Oh my God. Our political landscape is literally like the Twilight Zone. You can't beat an absurd game show host. You can't even beat that guy. You can't do it. And the best you have, that you think you have, is a guy with cognitive decline. And you're pretending he doesn't have that. I seriously can't believe the articles that they're, well, that was misleadingly edited. The problem is we're not focusing on it because of the thing he said about we can only re-elect Trump. I'm focusing on it because of the stuff he said before that, leading up to that line, where he's obviously lost. They're dishonest, guys. They're dishonest. I don't know what to tell you. But, bottom line is, Biden's struggling. And there's only one choice in this primary if you're remotely serious about even having a chance against Donald Trump, and his name is Bernie Sanders.